Hello everyone. Happy New Year. Happy Throwback Thursday. Today I bring you the original Soundwave and some of his most popular cassettes. The ones that I own anyway. And what you're looking at right now is how your brain remembers Soundwave. Isn't he lovely? But guess what? Your brain is wrong. Because this is the original Soundwave. He's a little bit lovely, but nowhere near as lovely as Masterpiece Soundwave here. Generation 1 Soundwave. He's always been one of my favorite figures from back in the day. He was like a must-have. And I'll let you see some of his details. These nice sticker details. He came with a rub symbol, and after 30 plus years, it still works. For people that don't know, Soundwave is what the Decepticon symbol was based off of. Like, you can look at that. If I can get it to focus. Focus! And that face looks a lot like Soundwave's face. Let's go into his articulation, which for back in the day, he had a lot. He could turn his head 360. He can look up a little bit. This one's kind of stiff and tight, so I'm not going to force it. His shoulders can rotate. They can go hinge back due to the transformation, and he has an elbow joint. His legs don't really give you much. I mean, he can if you want to. It's kind of tight for an old toy. Kick forward so he can actually sit down. But he has no knees. He can rotate outward like this if he wanted to. But that's basically it. And for back in the 80s, as far as Transformers, that's a lot. Before I go into his cassettes, I'm going to show you some of the other cool stuff I was lucky to get in this eBay auction years ago. Like the tech specs that came with he and Buzzsaw. And I even have the tech spec decoder, so you can actually filter out the red lines on there, or pink lines, and just see the blue lines and match it up with the numbers for their skills on the side. These tech specs even have a little bio for both of them. You could pause that and read it as you see fit. Cries and screams are music to my ears. I also got some Transformer points that can't do anything with. Used to be able to mail these away so you can get special robots. And Soundwave. He included 2 weapons. Shoulder-mounted concussion blaster and his missile launcher, which in the show they didn't really use as a missile launcher. He just shot lasers out of the tip of this thing right here. But this button, I think in Japan it actually was spring-loaded, but basically it just releases the missile in the American release. But you have to hold down the launch button to actually remove the missile. He came with 3 of those missiles and Buzzsaw and Buzzsaw's weapons. I'll show you the tape deck function with Buzzsaw. You push the button, the tape deck opens, and his cassette can slide right in there and push back up. That's the only functioning button on this guy. These don't press in. And for people that don't know, way back in ancient 1979, Sony introduced a device called a Walkman. What a Walkman was, is like an ancient iPod. You had to use these cassettes that, I guess I can compare them to, flash drives or memory sticks. You had to put them inside the tape deck or Walkman and press the play button to get the tapes to start spinning and working, and music came out of them. But let me show you Soundwave's transformation. Actually, let me hold off on that. What I want to do first is compare him to two other Soundwaves that I have. I already showed you Masterpiece Soundwave. I'll bring him back out. You can see these quite a bit shorter. And Generation Soundwave. Generation Soundwave is based on the War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron video games Soundwave, where this is its actual Cybertronian mode. And what I discovered today is old Soundwave, G1 Soundwave, can actually hold the more modern toys' weapons. Like they use the actual 5mm pegs. So he can actually hold that in his hand. You can put it on his shoulder. And I discovered that the actual cassettes, the weapons can actually peg inside of them too. That's something I never knew or ever tried. Let me try to put Soundwave's weapons in the newer Soundwave's hands. And he needs this gun because this Soundwave didn't come with the standard hand rifle. I could put this concussion blaster up here. It doesn't really fit well because there's a little piece back there stopping it. But it does go in there. Anyway, enough of that. Let me go into the transformation as promised. It's pretty simple. Rotate his head and slide it down. Put his arms straight. Use this switch on the side of his arms to make his hands go in. Or you could just push them in. Pull his arms out, shoulders out, push the arms back. And squeeze them in. Rotate the legs. Put the feet up. And collapse the legs up against his body. And boom. You have a Walkman. Or a micro cassette recorder, I should really call them. And as a bonus, this gun smashes down, and now there are some fake batteries. He has a belt clip on his back. You can take that out. And weapon storage. Now, a lot of Transformers nowadays come with weapon storage, but back in the day, not all Transformers did that. So this Transformer was way ahead of its time. And he is definitely the very definition of a robot in disguise. Like you could actually, if you were a kid back in the 80s, put this on your belt, walk around, put some headphones in that little hole right there, and pretend that this was an actual tape recorder, and nobody would know. Let me go over some of his features in this mode. Like, It says stereo micro cassette recorders. And these things are the actual size of old micro cassettes. On the side he has an off and on button. That of course doesn't really function. And a volume rocker. And like I'm saying, unless you look really hard or played around with it, you could really fake this off as a real micro cassette recorder. And now I'm going to bring in some of his cassette buddies. First, we start off with Laserbeak and Buzzsaw. Like I said, Buzzsaw came packaged with Soundwave. And he transforms by, pulling these things down, which will become his feet. Spreading these out, which becomes his wings. And sliding this forward, arching it up to become his head and neck. And unlike Soundwave and modern Transformers, these cassettes weapons didn't have storage. So you had to keep them handy off to the side somewhere to plug in to their backs. I'll let you see some of their details. You have stickers for the eyes. A lot of people would lose those stickers right away. Decepticon symbol stickers. I believe these stickers right here were pre-applied to the wings. And I'll let you see Laserbeak. Let's compare their stickers. Yeah, they're different. Only tiny differences. Laserbeak was the main guy you saw on the show. I think Soundwave eject Buzzsaw like once. I guess they felt no need to put him on the show because he came packaged with Soundwave, so they didn't need to advertise him. But they did need to advertise Laserbeak. Let's move on. Now we're on Frenzy and Rumble. Frenzy and Rumble. They were a cause of major debate. On the show, this guy was called Rumble. Actually, on the show, he was more, instead of that blue, it was like purple and blue. But this guy, definitely the red and black guy, was Frenzy on the show. But toy-wise, this is Frenzy and this is Rumble. And I'm going to stick to that. Because if you're on eBay or somewhere searching, they would definitely label this as Rumble if they know what they're talking about. Anywho, to transform him, you start with the legs, sort of similar to Soundwave. Bring them down. Rotate them this way. Rotate them this way. Slide the feet forward. And then this is one of the first release Rumbles. Rumbles. He had die-cast feet. Pull the arms out. Expose his little hands. Rotate them. Pull this arm out. And one of the major problems with these two guys is they have a spring-loaded head. And that spring gets loose. I remember as a kid, somebody let me hold one of theirs in school. The spring was so tightly wound, when I took the hands out, the head went flying across the room. And anywho, he doesn't have weapon storage either. So you have to peg them into his back. And if you flip them over, you can put it on his, slide this onto his arm, and he actually has a gun to hold. Pew, 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 pew. One of their major features in the show was some pile drivers, which the toys never had. Disappointing. Let you see. Mostly their sticker detail was identical. Now this Frenzy. I believe it's like a second release of Frenzy, and has plastic feet. And it also has gold weapons, unlike the chrome on this Rumble. They have limited articulation, mostly just the arm. It rotates up and down on the slide right there. If you tilt it this way, he has 2 elbow joints, but he suffers from what's commonly known as in the Transformer business, monkey arms, because his fists are pointing this way. So he's just curling in. Nothing at the head, and the legs just basically go out. I guess you could bend them at the knee, but since it doesn't go forward and he can't stand up like that, what's the use? Anywho, let's move on to the next guys. The ever popular Ravage. If Soundwave wasn't ejecting Laserbeak, he was ejecting Ravage. Unfortunately, Ravage suffers the most in cassette mode because you could just plainly just see his head sitting right there. But his sticker showing the tape inside of it is a lot better than some of the rest of them. Anyway, let me get him transformed. First, you pull the tail back, pull the head forward, flip him around to get to the side that doesn't have the visible tape. Pull these legs down, pull the feet up, pull these legs down, pull the feet up. And he is really flat, which kind of sucks. And on this side, he still has cassette tape details. I guess I could try to pose him, which is extremely freaking hard because of how flat he is and how little his feet are. Oh, I did it. Yay. He came with these 2 rockets that fit to the sides of him. Go in there. You can angle them however you see fit. And no, Ravage is not a dog. He's supposed to be like a jaguar. Anywho, let's bring out the last guy. Well, the last guy that I own anyway. Ratbat. Ratbat came later. He first debuted in the Transformer movie, which was after the 2nd season of the original show. And all these toys are vintage. That's why they look so horrible. He has some tape detail right there to you. Let's transform him. You have to bring these wings down. Bring him out. Bring his little feet out. Come on. If you don't have fingernails, you're really screwed. These are normally up, I think, but you can bring them down and bring his head out. On mine's, these ears are really loose. I'm trying to remember how they were on the show. But there's his little face. See his little mouth detail. Oh yeah, I forgot something. He has the finger on the top of his wings to make him look more like a real robotic bat. The wings don't angle back or anything. They mostly just sit out to the side. You could get some articulation out right there. Let me bring in his weapons. This one is horrible. Paint is coming off. I could get a new one, but I don't really care that much. I don't even display these guys that often. And I just realized that his rub sign still works. That's a plus. Anywho, let me get Soundwave back out here. Here's something I wanted to show you guys, but forgot to bring it out. Back in the day, we used to get these cool instruction manuals, like fully colored and deep with color photographs. And for everybody complaining about the simple transformers we get nowadays, this one had 4 steps. And up at the top, they actually give you detailed instructions. They even have Buzzsaw right there. They tell you what actually was included right here at the beginning. They have like a little bio of the Transformers war. Welcome to a world of Transformers, a world of heroic Autobots and evil Decepticons. Everything else is just basically instructions on transformative toys. And they tell you about the rub symbol and the Transformers points right there, and how to use the decoder. So you can pause that and read it if you want to. Anywho, I have some more modern cassettes. This was released about 5 or 6 years ago. It came with Hound during the Universe line. It's Ravage. And in this original Soundwave, no. I can't force them in, and I'm not going to break my toy. And now we have Masterpiece Ravage that came with my Masterpiece Soundwave. He's about the same size as... It looks like to be the exact same size as the originals. But I cannot fit him in there. It's like it will not go in there at all. Either way. It looks like it should, but I'm not going to force it in there. While I'm at it, I have another modern Ravage that I can't seem to fit him in there either. I mean, this is Alternator's Ravage. Came out in 2006. I haven't been able to get him in there either, which is a bit annoying. But anywho, for anybody else concerned about the newer Masterpiece Soundwave, he can, in fact, fit the older cassettes. It's the original Ravage. Let me press that back. I can fit him in there. Ratbat, fit him in there. And Buzzsaw. They fit in there nice and easy. Boop, boop. And he came up. But back to G1 Soundwave. I was into collecting G1 toys back in the early 2000s. And he is one of the only G1 toys that I actually kept, because he is still impressive to this day. Like, if you collect anything from G1, I would definitely say him and his cassette minions, because they are very impressive and super duper interesting to talk about to this day. Even if kids don't even know what a cassette deck is, but to your older friends or family, this would be an interesting conversation piece. So, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, share. And like I always say, that would make me very happy. And until next time, bye.